This episode may not be suitable for all listeners. Therefore, listener discretion is advised.
That's the funny sound.
Hello, strange ones.
I'm Lisa.
I'm Faith.
And I'm Sharon.
And this is She Sees Weird People. Hello, hey, hi, everybody.
Howdy.
Hey.
Howdy.
Hey, girlies, how's it going?
It's
I'm
going good.
It's going good. I'm officially 33.
Yay!
I know. But nobody even says happy birthday or anything. This is
Actually, I was just sitting here thinking, how old was I when you were born? And then I realized that I had you when I was 12, and so...
Oh, obviously, yeah, you're only like 40, 45.
I'm 39.
Oh, 39, yes. Well, I'm 22 then.
So, damn, so is Faith.
It's a good age.
Well, you're 24 or 23? Or 22?
How old are you, Faith?
22, turned 23 this year.
Okay, so you're 22, I'm 33, and my mom's 44.
Well, happy birthday, Lisa.
Happy birthday!
I'm dying to get a new puppy, like a little dachshund or something.
A dachshund?
A dachshund. Dachshund.
A Dotson?
A Dotson? A wiener dog. Okay, I want a wiener dog.
I want one too, though. They're so cute.
If we buy them stock, can we get them for cheaper?
I think we should look into this.
I know. I would like to buy some stock wiener dogs.
Y'all are weird.
It makes me think of Bridesmaids whenever they have the puppies as the favors, and one of the girls in the movie steals all the puppies and drives off in the van.
Yeah, she's all driving. She's all, look. They all pop up.
That's me in all of life. So anyway, today's story, I really want a puppy. Today's story,
You're going to need a puppy after this.
yeah, I know.
Emotional support.
Need some puppy love.
That's the funny sound.
This story has been, there's several podcasts on it, and there's a movie or documentary. But I think it's interesting for us to tell it because we live very close to Las Cruces, and this is the story of the Las Cruces Bowling Alley Massacre. So, we always hear people talk about New Mexico as if it's like, I don't know, just one tiny village in and of itself, but there's actual towns and cities and people and events here. It's nice to tell it like with some appreciation for the state, I guess.
I do love this state. I love it here.
It's beautiful. I don't care
I
what
was born to live in the desert, and I love it here.
You know
I was
what?
born to live at the beach.
It's like I don't belong here.
I was born to live at the beach. We sort of have a beach here, but so anytime I'll take you.
Everyone's like decorating their landscapes with cactus and succulents, and they're like, New Mexico's hideous. I'm like, where do you think those come from, guys?
Yeah.
So the tumbleweeds that nobody sees.
Ye old tumbleweed.
That cracks me up how people have never seen those.
Oh, I've seen them. I've crashed into them. I've been hit by them when walking.
Drug them? Drug them under your car? Swear.
Do you remember when people were selling them for Christmas trees?
What?
They would take the big old tumbleweeds and they would stick them in a giant cardboard box and ship them across the country and make $50 on a southwestern Christmas tree.
Well, I will now be quitting my job.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm a tumbleweed
I thought that was
dealer.
insane. I was like, we burn those here.
That's a whole different
For
kind of
real?
weed dealer.
For real.
So, going back to the story, I mean, I guess I'll just jump kind of into it.
I feel like there's a bit of avoidance here.
Okay, yeah, well, it makes me sad. So, on the morning of February 10th, 1990, Stephanie Senac was in her office preparing to open up the bowling alley she managed in Las Cruces. She was accompanied by her 12-year-old daughter, Melissa Repas, and Melissa's friend, Amy Hauser, who was 13 years old. Typically, the two girls would run the bowling alley's daycare, which I've never heard of, but that's awesome. Like, they should have a daycare everywhere I go. And so Amy and Melissa kind of run that, which they're technically not old enough to work, of course, but it seems like it's like a very family-owned small town kind of thing going on. And so this bowling alley also had a cook for like snack bar style stuff, and that was ran by Ida Olgin. And she was in the kitchen prepping on this morning, February 10th. And around this time, two men entered the bowling alley through an unlocked door. So there's a bowling alley. It's like 8 in the morning. They're getting prepared to open. The girls are there with their mom and the friend. And then Ida's in the kitchen, and these men come through an unlocked door, broad daylight. And they're carrying .22 caliber pistols from what I found on reports. So one of the gunmen forces Ida, the cook, into the office where the other gunmen already had Melissa, Amy, and Stephanie at gunpoint. And so it happens really, really fast. They're just in there having a normal morning.
And this is happening at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. They're getting ready to open for the day. And nobody's even there, no customers, just, people getting prepared to start, and it's bright and early.
Too damn early for all this.
Yeah. I'm going back to bed.
She just got up 30 minutes ago.
I know, I would be in the worst mood already.
And now I'm getting shot up.
Yeah. Got this going on, and then you lay this on me?
This house is a prison.
I'm playing it bullshit. So at this point, the gunmen, they force the women and the girls to lay on the floor as they collect the cash. There's like conflicting reports on the numbers. One report I read said 4,000 to 5,000. I was listening to Crime Junkie, and they said, I think 12 grand. And yeah, and so it was a good amount of money either way. And well, there's no good amount of money. When I hear that number, I actually get really irritated, because it's essentially putting a price on the life of those individuals that were targeted. But it's a lot of money. And so around this time, Stephen Turan, who is the pin mechanic of the bowling alley, he enters the premises. Now, Stephen was unable to find childcare for his kids, his daughter and his stepdaughter, that morning. So he brings 2-year-old Valerie Turan and 6-year-old Paula Olgin with him. Paula has no relationship to Ida, the cook, by the way.
I was just fixing to ask that.
Yeah. And so he brings his 2-year-old and his 6-year-old. And he was going to leave the girls in the care of Melissa and Amy in the daycare. And so he's got his 2 babies with him, and it's a normal work day. He's going to leave them with the girls. And Stephen walks around, and he doesn't see anyone around the alley, like normally he would, like the girls walking around or people setting up. And so he goes into the office, and he just walks in on the crime scene. And
Oh no.
the crime scene is, at this time, the 3 girls laying on the floor while the 2 gunmen are collecting money. And so, without warning, the gunmen just start shooting, and they shoot all of the victims in the room several times, including the children. And they were shot execution style, even the kids.
Oh my God.
Yeah, in the back of the head. And so that's where the avoidance came from. So fucked up.
Ugh.
Yeah. So these guys shoot the adults, they shoot the teens, they shoot the babies.
How cold are you?
Yeah, it's
How can you? I mean, you have to. I would imagine that in order to be able to do something like that, you would have to be so removed and unattached to anything around you.
yeah, how? Like, how do you
become that? I'm just like, oh.
Yeah. And so after this, the gunmen set fire to the office by lighting papers on fire. They just, kind of carelessly. And they leave the alley with all 7 victims still in the office. And it's starting to burn more and more intensely. So you have the manager, Stephanie, her daughter, Melissa, Melissa's friend, Amy. You have Stephen and Stephen's 2 children. So you have Stephen and his 2 little girls. You have Melissa and her mother, Stephanie, Melissa's friend, Amy, Ida, who cooked, and they're all shot point blank in the head. So at 8:33 a.m., there was a 911 call. The fire was reported, and the officers respond to the call at the bowling alley. And I'm going to play you the 911 call. This 911 call. So this 911 call was made by Melissa Rapace, and she's the daughter of the manager. I'm going to play that for you. It's really good to listen to and sad. So just bear with me on that.
That's the funny.
All right, so this 911 call was made by Melissa Rapace. She is the daughter of the manager, and it's pretty hard to listen to, but I think it really adds a lot of context to the story, and honestly, it just lets you know like how terrifying and heartbreaking it was. So here we go.
Emergency.
Please help me.
Well, slow down.
We were all shot. Hold up.
Okay. Where are you at?
Everyone, we stand the door. On Cruces Bowl.
Las Cruces Bowl?
Yes.
Okay, and there were shots fired?
Yes. All of us were hurt.
Huh?
All of us were hurt. I think I'm the only one conscious.
All of you were hurt? Okay, we'll get an ambulance rolling.
Please.
Okay, what's your name?
Melissa Repass. Please hurry.
Okay, Melissa, we've got him dispatched. Did you see who did it?
No, sir. They told us all to get down. They shot me 5 times.
Okay.
God.
Rolling, Melissa. Just hang on. Take a deep breath. We've got patrol units en route. How many people are hurt?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7 people are hurt?
Yes, I think. I don't know.
Somebody's hurt. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, Melissa.
It hurt.
It hurts. Okay. Melissa, I've got an ambulance and I've got the police officers en route. They'll be with you just shortly.
Okay.
Okay? You didn't see what any of the
Mom,
men
they
were
just
wearing?
all of our money.
You didn't see what any kind of the men were wearing or anything?
No.
Nothing. They just walked in.
Uh-huh.
Do you know if they were black men, white
With
men?
one black man, they're both black.
2 black men?
Yeah.
Okay. No, they've left. 2 black male.
Please hurry.
Okay. It's okay, Melissa.
There's a fire, too.
There's a fire?
Right on the desk. They're going to burn us up.
Are the men still there?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. They put us in the office.
They put
Yes, I need a fire engine too. Please help me.
And two. Okay, Melissa. She said they locked them in the office. She doesn't know if they're still there or not.
The door's open. There's a fire.
It's on Amador, yeah.
Please
Can you
help.
smell smoke, Melissa?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay.
Can I get the fire
Fire
extinguisher?
department too?
Yes.
She says she smells smoke. They may have lit the building on fire.
No, it is on fire.
It is on fire.
It is.
Okay, Melissa.
Can I go get
Can
the...
by utility one?
Oh, ow.
Okay, Melissa. We've got them coming, hon. We've got them coming. If somebody...
Sorry, my mommy.
Okay, Melissa. There's a police officer there now, okay?
There is.
Yes, there is. He's going to try and find you.
Over in the office. Just tell
Stand
them.
by at 33 traffic.
God,
Okay.
I'm gonna die. I know it.
Hold on, Melissa. We've got the ambulance coming. They're just down the street. Huh? She advises all 7 are shot. They're injured. They're in the office. Where's the office at, Melissa?
In the first desk, and then you take a right, and we're right in the middle.
Okay. She says you go in the first desk, take a right, and they're right there at the office. Okay, I'm giving the directions on how to get to you, to the police officers that are there.
Oh my God, please help me.
They're helping you, Melissa. We've got them rolling. Okay? You got to be brave. You got to be strong now. Okay?
Oh God, it's gonna burn us right now.
Okay. Can you see flames?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's burning us.
Okay.
Oh, I got bullets in my feet.
Okay.
The bullets in my head.
The bullets in your head, too?
I can't. None of them are touching. I'm still scared.
Go ahead. I hear the officers telling you to get out.
I'm
Get out.
scared there's somebody else.
Was that the police officer telling you to get out?
Yeah.
Then get out.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, so that is one of the saddest things I've ever heard in my life. She said, I want my mommy.
What I heard was they shot my mommy.
Well, and the other thing I heard is I have bullets in my feet. It hurts. I mean, and she's 12.
Oh my gosh, Lisa.
Yeah. She's only
That
12.
gave me chills.
I know, me too. Yeah, so she's so little, and they shot her 3 times, once in the head, twice in the feet. And I am astounded that she sounded so steady, and that she was able to call and try and help all of the people in there with a bullet in her head.
Yeah. Hey, that baby girl's a badass.
Yeah.
She is a badass.
Well, and can you imagine? There's a fire burning around you. Nobody else is awake. And you don't know if those men are still in the building or not. And so, yeah, that hurts my heart. She's the only one conscious in a room of people that she loves who were brutalized. And so, Valerie Turan is rushed to the hospital, and she's declared dead on arrival. Amy Hauser, Paula Olguin, and Stephen Turan, they died at the scene. The one who called the police, Melissa, the daughter of the manager and the victim, Stephanie, they made it over to the hospital. Ida Olguin, she was able to get police to the scene, and Melissa was in time to save herself, Ida, and her mom Stephanie's lives. But her mom Stephanie died a few years later from complications from her injuries. And so there were 2 survivors, in essence.
Oh, well.
Yeah, I know I told that a little jumbled. There's a lot of names, and so I was trying to make sure I got them all right. But 3 dead at the scene, 1 taken to the hospital, declared dead on arrival, and then 3 survivors. one who passed away much later from complications due to her injury. Her mom, Stephanie, passed away in 1999.
Wow.
Yeah. And so she just sounds terrified and horrified. And that cop is like so stoic. It amazes me. First responders.
That'd be a hard job.
It would be.
Yeah, that's true.
He did a good job.
Yeah. So, as you heard, Melissa reported that there were 2 black men, and so that's the suspects police are looking for. Police and firefighters got there within minutes, as you heard, put out the fire to see what's going on. There are bodies of survivors and those dead, when they walk in at 8:37 a.m., and so it's still super early. Backup for police arrives, and it becomes like a total shit show. Everyone's trying to do their jobs correctly, but because it's definitely not like a common occurrence for this to happen, and it's like a big town at this time, but not a lot of... Okay, honestly, it's in the top 2 largest mass shootings in New Mexico, and they didn't even talk about mass shootings in 1990.
Yeah, and it's a college town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So can you imagine how many, if this had happened during business hours, how many kids would have been in there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
And
so, yeah. So everyone is trying to do their jobs correctly. They're, gathering evidence, putting out fires, all these different things. But in all of this, the scene becomes really contaminated almost right away. And the police chief at the time is really open about that.
There was a fire.
Yeah, there's a fire. There's like 5 different kinds of teams in there. There's bodies.
There's probably water or fire extinguisher residue everywhere. Oh, what a mess.
Yeah, and so they're really open about the fact that it's contaminated, and I think it would have been contaminated no matter what, but I think they wanted to take responsibility for the fact that, like, we didn't exactly know how to deal with this. We did our very best, but we were all on top of each other trying to do this. So at this point, the police set up 10 roadblocks at every exit of the city of Las Cruces to keep anyone from leaving the city unless they're approved, and this proves pretty fruitless. They screened those leaving the town one by one, anybody who was going in or out, and they had U.S. Customs, Border Patrol, and the Army searching the area with helicopters and planes even, and they didn't find anything. And of course they have help from these agencies because Mexico is like right down the road. So they have Border Patrol and U.S. Customs there to help, because that interstate can take you right out of the country in 30 minutes.
Yep.
And in 1990, it's an open border.
Yeah, and there's nothing between Las Cruces and El Paso but desert.
Yeah.
Maybe 1 or 2 little towns, but that's it.
There's like Las Cruces, Anthony, some kind of shopping center, and then El Paso.
Yeah.
Which is, El Paso Juarez. So yeah, that's, they're trying to keep everybody in the area and screen everybody. But it's a big response. So it's pretty wild that in all this time they haven't been able to link any physical evidence to anyone. There wasn't a ton, but they had both fingerprints and shell casings, which good evidence. It's good physical evidence. Like, to match the gun with ballistics, fingerprints for anybody who's in the system, and anyone who can commit that violent of a crime is probably in the system somewhere.
You would think.
Yeah.
You know what astonishes me about this is that I watched a few things about this, and I saw that one of the cops had said, one of the officers had said, we were clearly not equipped or to handle this sort of thing. And that, honestly, aside from the federal government and Homeland Security and things like that, who is?
Yeah.
Because if you don't think like that, you don't prepare for it. I mean, who shoots babies?
Well, it's like how in schools now, they take a lot of precautions because of the school shooting situation. And when you look at that, it's really freaky to see that just in case preparation work, like bulletproof windows and that kind of stuff. And so if you were always prepared for this kind of thing, we would be in a constant state of terror. It shouldn't happen. It would it'd look like we were prepared for warfare all the time.
Maybe we should be. You know,
I'm watching you, political climate. maybe we should be. So, yeah, they have the fingerprints, they have the shell casings, and at this time, that's all for physical evidence. Melissa reported one of the men had a Spanish accent and the other didn't, and composites were drawn up. I sent you both a picture of the composites that were drawn up. And what you can see here is one definitely looks older than the other. Like one looks like he's like in his 30s, the other looks like he might be in his 50s. One of them has like very thick mustache, full head of hair. One of them's got like a receding hairline and these big eyes and a wide mouth, and they're really easy to find, the composite sketches for the Las Cruces bowling alley massacre. But the thing, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I know that she said that they were black men, but they do not.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. And then one of them having a Spanish accent and the other one not. They look Hispanic.
They do to me too. They do. The composites look Hispanic, and I'm just saying that because we are in this area, that it seems more likely because
more than half of New Mexico's population is
right. In New Mexico, white people are the minority. Black people are definitely a minority. So I mean, they would really stand out. So I am, but to me they look like Hispanic.
Yeah, one of them could maybe pass as black.
I thought that too.
But yeah, they're definitely from the composites, not both black guys. But she's 12 and she was scared, and it was
Terrifying.
Yeah, terrified. So, yeah.
And if you're on the ground, you probably, you didn't spend a lot of time looking at them because they shot him in the back of the head, right?
Yep.
So they knew what they were doing when they told him to get on the ground. Oh my gosh, that is
Yeah, they knew the whole time. Like, they herded them in there, essentially. Like they weren't even human. And so, yeah, it seems like Hispanic, Latino, and I'm 50-50 on the other guy, but those are the composites. And so that's a discrepancy that's in there, is that, she said that it was 2 black men. At this time, the living victims are in too critical a condition to aid in giving the police more information. They're in the hospital, they've been shot, and Melissa's in there too. So the sketches go out across the state and the country, and they're passed out in Mexico as well, with the border being so close. They're trying to find these 2 dudes. They get a wave of information, and I think one of the sources I said that I used, it was like 50 calls an hour, but they didn't get any solid leads out of that. The community, I think, wanted so much to help that they were just calling and calling with anything. But something interesting that I also happened upon was that the shooters may have been looking for something else. Like, they may have it may not have been completely centered around the money that they took.
that was the feeling I got too, that there might have been something else going on there.
Well, first thing is they left some money behind. And I couldn't find how much they left behind. I tried to look through, but it was just reported that they left some of the money behind. And Ida, Ida lived, and she had reported to the police later on when she was able to help them out a little bit that they were rooting around looking for something in there, in the office. And so they left money, they were searching for something, and they tried to kill everyone when that's completely unnecessary for a robbery. And so that kind of confuses the motive a little bit.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's strange.
Robbers don't leave cash or valuables behind, and usually when the motive is robbery, that's what happens.
They're not looking to kill.
Yeah, unless something goes wrong, but they literally led them in there and shot them execution style, so.
Seems like it was planned.
Yeah, and then they started the fire. They started the thing that, like, would have scared them out of the crime scene. You know what I mean? They started it, so it's not like they were in a rush. There was no reason for them to leave anything behind or at 8 in the morning. Yeah.
They made every effort to destroy whatever evidence that they might have left behind, and you're right, they're not concerned. So they weren't all that. They don't seem concerned about having left fingerprints or DNA behind, because and that makes me wonder if these guys had maybe never been in the system before. Not that they were new at this, but maybe they're just not from the United States.
That's what I was thinking too, is maybe they're from Mexico. Because the border is right there, and it seems to be that they were Hispanic. That's one of the only things that makes sense. Like, why would you not have their prints? Somebody that would do that kind of thing. And it almost seems targeted in the way that they murdered, like when they didn't have to.
Some of the officers involved in the investigation, when I watched the documentary earlier, or yesterday, which I don't recommend doing that. It hurt my feelings. It was full of information, but it hurt my feelings. They were considering that this could be a professional hit.
Yeah.
And because the owner of the bowling alley wasn't anywhere near the bowling alley, and I don't understand why you'd want to. I don't think he was doing it, but maybe he was the target, or maybe something he had in that office was the target.
Yeah. A lot of it's really strange. Like, it's a weird set of circumstances. Stephen Tarrant's brother, Anthony Tarrant, a quote that I found from him to the Las Cruces Sun News, which is their paper. He said, "In this day and age, things like this don't go unsolved. How do we not get these guys? That's the question I ask myself every day. Numerous people saw these gunmen, so someone out there knows something and needs to come forward. It's also been on America's Most Wanted 3 separate times. It's a five fatalities, 2 affected by lifelong trauma and injuries, physical evidence, nationwide attention, and it's still not solved." I mean, it's still under active investigation by the Las Cruces Police Department, and FYI, you can contact them with any information if you have any, audience, or Mom, or Faith, just in case.
We'll see what I can come up with.
But it doesn't make sense that it's unsolved. It's a very special set of circumstances, and it's been 34 years now.
When this all happened, there was a dude across the street from the bowling alley on the roof, and he saw them run out of the building. Okay, He saw the direction they were going in, so they're on foot, right? So if they're on foot, let's just think about this, and you've just killed 7 people, and the cops are coming. I mean, you don't run if you don't think the cops are coming, right?
Yeah.
I think they were probably holed up in a house somewhere for a while, and when the heat was off, they went right straight back across the border. I think that's where they were from. I think that was a cartel hit. That's my opinion.
It's not a bad opinion, because Who is so cold that they can walk into a building and brutalize children without a second thought? Like, it was methodical. Like, we walk in, we identify who's there. We put them in one room. We put them in one position. We look for what we need to look for. We take some of what is there. And then to anyone's knowledge, they never left Las Cruces in that time while they had the roadblocks up.
I don't think they did, because they would have found him. But if they were looking for black men and the shooters were Hispanic, I mean, these two guys right here look like a couple of guys I saw in the grocery store. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
in the area, you would have a lot of Hispanic-looking people, like unassuming, just happen to be Mexican and whatever. But you wouldn't pay any mind because everyone around here is just, doesn't stick out too much.
no, they don't, and and they don't stick out because these are our people. Nobody.
We're all just here to buy green chili.
It's the truth, though. I mean, we're all there. This place is it's extremely diverse. There's people everywhere.
Yeah.
The scariest part of this whole thing to me is, and you know how I am about this, because I don't, like, if you go to El Paso or to the doctor, you have to do business up there. I'm like, do not get out of the car with your kids. Don't go by yourself. All of those things, because there's such an enormous, it's bigger than you can imagine. The human trafficking syndicates, the drug cartels coming back and forth across the border, and the amount of, if you go to Juarez, for example, and in El Paso, the border, it's a border town. There's a ton of little shops right there where people from Mexico come over and work in the United States right at the border, and you can go down there and get clothes and shoes and all kinds of medicine, beautiful artwork, all the things that you could possibly want, way cheaper than you can get them right in the United States,
Yeah.
And before they closed the borders, we used to do it all the time.
I know, I'm like, I wish I could still do that so I could get insulin at a price that makes sense for my son.
Right. But that's how dangerous it is. It's so dangerous that the United States finally had to close those borders just to keep their citizens safe, their dumb citizens safe. I'm sorry. You go across that border and you can expect
something scary to happen because of the state that the area is in right now.
And Las Cruces, where this occurred, is literally an hour away from the border. Is that about right?
I think it's like 35 minutes, but yeah, like something around there. And Las Cruces is a totally different feel than El Paso. As soon as you get over there, it feels different.
University of New Mexico's there.
There's so many people, not just like that live there, but like walking everywhere. And
nobody's got a car, and everybody has a destination. So there's places. There's what is it? Sandia Labs is close. You go a little further, you have White Sands. You've got the Alamogordo. You have the military Air Force Base. There's an enormous amount of stuff going on there, and
it's the busiest, most, like, people are so unaware of how busy this whole area is, because it's not the kind of busy that it is in like a big city, like New York City, for instance. Like, it's a metropolis of fashion and entertainment, but you come here and it's like an underground metropolis of research and crime. So another interesting part of this, it's been 34 years now. 7 people were shot, 4 died right away. 1 died later. As time goes on, nobody has come forward still. There's been a reward for a long time for $25,000 offered by the Las Cruces, Donna Ana County Crime Stoppers. And that's been out for a while. There is a film, A Nightmare in Las Cruces, which is the one that you were talking about, Mom.
Yeah, it's
right?
a docudrama. It's pretty. It's heart-wrenching. It's gut-wrenching. It is unbelievable to think that.
Yeah, and I didn't get to watch the whole thing because my 10-year-old had a meltdown. However, something interesting about that is the person that made it, I believe that it was very heartbreaking all the way through. It was released on the 20th anniversary of the massacre, and it uses interviews with family members as crime scene footage. But it was made by Charlie Min, who's a journalist and a filmmaker, and he added $7,000 of his own money to the reward. Let me see when this was. In 2022. And so he made that documentary, and then in 2022 he added money. So it's $32,000 for a reward, leading to an arrest now. So this Min guy, he really seems to care about bringing attention to this. He says to the Las Cruces Sun News, "I just want to help. There's only attention to this thing around the anniversary. There's no reason that it shouldn't be talked about in June or September." And he's right. Like, there's no reason it should be unsolved. It's so freaky.
That's the thing.
So that is the story that I have. Something to add on there is that there was another shooting on the same day as the massacre. They can't find any reason to say that it was related. There's no official statement that says it's related. Actually, there's the opposite, but I just wanted to throw it out there that there was another shooting that day. And it's just a thing.
And who was the guy who owned the bowling alley?
Oh, I know who owns it now. It's Kevin McGrath. He purchased the property and planned to open a family entertainment center, which I believe he actually did. Yeah, what did you find?
Well, I can't remember what his name is, but I watched the documentary. I was watching the end of it, and this guy was very well. His daughter and his granddaughter were in there. Melissa and her mother.
Okay, so that was Melissa's dad who owned it.
No, it was Melissa's mom's dad.
Okay.
It's her grandfather. And I think that the hit was about him. I think they sent a message. Because if it was just a robbery, I mean, if you killed them all, why would you leave $1 behind? If that's what you came for, why would you leave anything behind at all?
Yeah. His name was Phil Kinzer.
Yeah.
And he sold the property because he wanted to retire. So I guess he kept the property that whole time.
No.
Yeah. Why would you do that?
So there's just a very cold feeling around the whole thing, as if the people in there didn't matter to the people around them, if that makes sense. Like,
Or if there was something else to find on that property.
yeah, it feels gross. There's like, why would you keep that in your family? Like, I wouldn't be able to step foot in there ever again.
So what would be the point owning it, you know?
But then on the other hand, I got a devil's advocate. Maybe it was his way of coping to be in that space where they were. Who knows? Just throwing it out there. But for me,
There's a lot of questions, though.
yeah, for me, I could never enter that room again.
But on the off chance that you happen to hear this podcast and you know something about it,
Yeah.
Say, come on, just come out. Just come out with it. What difference does it make now? It's 30 years later. Everybody's, dead or dying. Soon all of that information will be gone.
Yeah. There's a $32,000 reward leading to an arrest. The thing that runs through my mind is I would hope someone would come forward because they wouldn't want to live with that guilt anymore, But on the other hand, anyone who would execute children point blank, or anyone with awareness that someone they know could do this, like anyone who's
terrified
with that, I don't even know if they'd have the scruples, much less the courage to come forward. I hope they do. But it's so fucking cold that if you, and Mom, if it really is something linked to like cartel stuff, probably never hear a damn thing about it.
No, you won't, because the cartels are they're freaking terrifying.
Yeah.
And that's why I think nobody knew who these guys were. I don't think they came from here.
When I was a little kid, I thought like cartels and human trafficking were like conspiracy theories. I don't know why. And now, you live around it. Everybody does. And it's effing scary. Had your kids, had your wives.
When I was a kid, everybody said the mob didn't exist. There's no such thing, Danny.
You're like, I've seen The Sopranos. How dare you lie to me?
Right.
It's like Thanksgiving.
John Gotti went to jail for the rest of his life.
It's like me learning about Thanksgiving in the 90s in elementary school and like making like pilgrim hats and talking about cowboys and Indians, and then now I'm like, oh my god, what have I celebrated?
Not what we thought.
Yeah, I had no idea what I was celebrating, just walking around with my dumb feather hat. Sorry to the peoples. Yeah. Anyway, this is the story of the Las Cruces Bowling Alley Massacre. It's terribly sad, and I don't know if it'll ever be solved, but if you do have information, Las Cruces Police Department is the place to go, and there is a reward. You can also hit up New Mexico Crime Stoppers at newmexicocrimestoppers.org or 1-800-222-8477. There's also a Crime Stoppers app now, P3 Tips, and you can just get it in your app store and like hit them up with some tips.
That's cool.
It is cool, right? Like they're like, seriously, help us solve crimes.
Well, we came.
We saw.
We heard some really weird shit.
And some really sad shit.
Yeah, really sad, honestly.
Yeah, I know.
P.S. Melissa, if you ever hear this, we would love to buy you dinner, and we think you're a complete badass.
I know.
Mm-hmm. You are a badass.
Offers free therapy sessions to survivors. Just kidding, that's not allowed.
I will give you dinner. I'll buy you dinner for damn sure. All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Yep, next week it is.
See you later.
Adios.
Bye-bye.
That's the funny sound.
I'm Lisa.
I'm Faith.
And I'm Sharon.
Join us next time on She Sees Weird People.
Thank you so much for listening. If you have a weird story to tell or a case idea, contact us at weirdpeople@sheseesweirdpeople.com. Be sure to hit that subscribe button wherever you get your podcasts. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at She Sees Weird People Podcast. This podcast was written, hosted, and produced by Sharon Metcalf, Faith Donovan, and Lisa Metcalf, and produced by Sedona Brave Studios. Keep it real, guys.